Today on Community Connections, I'm pleased to have Holly Migliaccio, one of the partners in Rook Coffee, a Long Branch business. Thank you for coming over.
I'm happy to be here.
Well, Rook Coffee may be the most famous bird in Monmouth County.
You know, I drew that bird. It's actually my drawing. Well, when we started the business, we didn't really have a marketing or advertising budget, so everything we did was really grassroots on our own. Everything. When
you say we, your partner is Sean Kingsley?
Yes, Sean and I. I had to teach him how to tile. My grandpa and my dad helped us, and he wasn't as much of a handy guy, so we did tiling and painting and spackling and
But you had this
everything.
Tiny little store when you started. Why'd you need to do all that work?
Well, it was, over the years, that little location, it changed over and over and over, and when we got there, it had been like a little office. 300 square feet.
It's tiny.
Or less. I actually might be 250.
I can remember, it was a small bakery and a small deli.
So you remember, small bakery, small deli, and then there were 2 desks in there. It was a little office for I think a carpet company or something.
Okay.
But we did everything on our own, every little thing.
And now on a Sunday in the summer, that little location, I don't know how many cups of coffee and yeah, you can't get into the place.
I will say that it has grown every year, year over year, for 8 years straight, which is, I don't know how another person can get into the door, but it happens.
Does I assume you keep numbers and you can compare it?
Yes.
But that location, it can't possibly be your biggest.
It's
your
not.
busiest.
It's not the busiest. It can get there in the summer. It gets, you know, a little hairy, but. No, Wall Township actually right now is the busiest. But if you put Long Branch together, we have our roastery, which sells coffee to our stores, and we have Monmouth Med, and we have our Long Branch store. So we do a lot out of Long Branch.
How many do you have now? How many stores?
10 locations.
Now let's go back to the bird, because it's hard to drive. It's hard to drive around Monmouth County and on a day not see, it seems, as many cars as not.
It's crazy. I'm like, I see them and I'm like, you drew that. You did that.
And there really is a bird called a rook?
A rook. Yep, it's a black crow.
Okay.
Some people say, oh, is that a penguin? Is that a raven? What kind of bird is that? But it's a black crow. And Rook came from, we wanted to do this business in Brooklyn. We thought originally that would be a hip place. We both lived in New York, and we thought, all right, that's a great place to start a coffee business. But barrier to entry was pretty high, and we realized that, you know, we were a little deep into our business planning. We said, you know, home is great. This is where we grew up. Monmouth County, our roots are here.
You were living in Highlands already.
I was living in Highlands at the time. I was commuting to New York for my corporate job, and I left that job in 2008. Traveled for a little while, and then Sean proposed this coffee business, and he quit his job, and then we joined forces to do it.
And you're fortunate enough that you have different skill sets.
Very much so. Sean is very finance and product minded, and I'm very people, marketing, operations minded. So we have a really good balance.
Do either of you have degrees from college in what you do?
No. No.
Well, you told me.
Well,
I don't know what Sean.
He was finance,
okay.
You know, and I think his minor was computer technology. Yeah.
Both of which are very handy in what you do, I'm sure.
Definitely handy. I was actually elementary ed, so it comes in handy with people and humans and our training program and developing. We have actually a curriculum for training, so something that I have developed.
So you started in one location, 300 square feet, selling coffee.
Yes.
And now you have 10 stores all over Monmouth County?
Yes, every one of the stores is in Monmouth County.
And at the moment, not looking to expand locations?
Not per se. You know, we took a break. I said about 2 years ago, I think it was, that we said, all right, time out. You know, we just signed 2 more leases. That brings us to 10 stores. Homedale just opened this past year, or over a year ago now. So we time out and took the past 2 years to just build the infrastructure of the company to get strong. Hire good people on the corporate side, new processes in place, new training programs, and just get strong. And it's been working.
When you decided coffee, now I asked you, you drink about as much as I do, which is 2-3 cups a day.
Yep.
Why coffee?
Coffee is something that, you know, when we left our jobs, for example, it was, I quit my job in 2008, what did I say, 2009, excuse me. So it was right during that recession, and you know, it was a product that we thought it's recession proof. You know, a cup of coffee is an affordable luxury. So even when you can't maybe afford to go out for a big grand dinner, you could still treat yourself to a cup of coffee, $2-3. And that was in our minds, but coffee is something we both loved. We didn't know a ton about it, but we knew that the model of coffee, it's one product that you could also sell to one person every single day. If you think about it, there's not that many products that you could talk somebody into buying every single day.
True.
Not many at all. Bottle of water, maybe a smoothie, or I don't know where you would go.
I drink coffee every day. I don't buy bottled water.
Yeah, I mean, well.
No, but I think it's a good
example.
example.
Something that
ice cream.
Every day. I mean, some people do.
I could.
So for that reason, I think we thought it was a strong product to go with.
How much do you know about coffee now? I mean, you answer. I sent you an email, said, hey, you want to be on the show? And your answer was, well, we have to do it next week because I'm going to Sumatra the week after
That's
that.
right.
And I was happy. I asked you. I was right about where it is, and I buy Sumatra beans from you.
Yes.
Unground.
Excellent.
Right. But are you going all over the world and learning about coffee?
So
Have you been doing that over the years?
We've been doing that over the years. I'd say we started about 1.5 years in. We said, we better start to go to some of these countries and build relationships. At the origin, they want to meet you and they want to know who they're selling their product to, and we want to see what their processes are like and how they're treating the people on their farms. So you really want to build a relationship if you can as you're purchasing coffee and growing. So that's where we started.
So when you go to Sumatra, who are you meeting with?
So we'll go with our importer. So we have a supplier here actually New Jersey is a big hub for coffee on the coast. Seattle and New Jersey are actually very big hubs for coffee. We got lucky there. But we'll go with our...
Starbucks and Pizza are in...
They're in Seattle.
Seattle.
Yep. We will go with that individual who brings our coffee in. So the
He's
importer.
like your agent?
He's like an agent, yeah. But I mean, he probably has thousands of clients, and we were invited on this trip, which is amazing. And then on the Sumatra side, there's an exporter. So essentially, those two people get together and they host. The exporter says, hey, farmers, there's people coming to visit. And the importer says, hey, buyers, Sean and Holly, come with me. We're going to go meet. And so they both.
How grassroots you've been on trips like this before?
Yes.
How grassroots will you get? Will you actually be talking to the people who work in the fields that grow the coffee?
Absolutely. We'll walk right in the fields with them, meet them, shake their hands, meet their families. They'll translate for us, the exporter. It's pretty grassroots. It's pretty intense.
And the farmers over there, I mean, I have no idea what a coffee farm looks like.
So a coffee farm, it's beautiful. I mean, most of the time it's on the side of a mountain. And very, very, very high up. I mean, 1,400, like really high up. And it can be shade grown, where it's, there's tree coverage. But most of the time in a country like that, it's the sun's hitting it pretty strong if it's on the side of the mountain. And the coffee itself, they're like these little cherries. They're red. And inside that cherry are the two beans, right? And they flower. I mean, it can be beautiful depending on what time of year you go, and if it's the harvest season.
When is the harvest season, or it varies from climate to climate?
Yeah, it varies. So we went to Costa Rica in the winter, and we got it at a time where it was they were flowering, and it was like, it was so cool. It was beautiful.
Are there any other companies who do what you do? I mean,
there are.
I mean, the little 300 square foot store, you used to go in there and there'd be customers, counter, baristas. I'd see you in there sometimes, and a coffee roaster that was a pretty good sized and interesting looking machine.
Yeah. Yeah. We've grown from that roaster, good size. We went from that was an 8 kilo to an 18 kilo, and now we have a 70 kilo. So we've grown exponentially from those days. But I think you have to prioritize what's important to your business. So do other coffee roasters go to the countries of origin? I mean, to go, it's a major investment. To go to Sumatra next week is a major investment on the company, but we think that that's a priority. So you can, they might say, oh, I'll just taste the coffee. The importer picks some good ones. I'm just going to taste it, and I'll pick that one. And they don't go and build the relationships. But I think it's about prioritizing what's important for your business.
How many different countries? I mean, I know that you go in there, Ethiopian, Costa Rican, Guatemalan.
Yeah.
I don't know, Colombian.
So we have about eight or nine at any given time. We'll have limiteds now where we'll bring in a great coffee. We have a Kenya coming, for example. We'll bring in a great coffee for a couple of weeks. And sometimes we can do that if you get a small amount. Sometimes we can't put something on our menu. There's just not enough of it. If we find a great coffee that, one little farm produced and we can put it on our menu for 2 weeks, well, that's great. But we can't necessarily get it for a year-round staple item. But the coffees we have on our menu, we try to balance, right? So a couple of light roasts, a couple of dark roasts, the mediums, and so we kind of cover everybody's palate.
You have a favorite?
I do. It's the Costa Rica right now. I used to like the Ethiopia.
That's what I bought yesterday.
Yeah, and now I just got stuck on the Costa Rica. For me, I like a higher acidity and like a more fruit-forward coffee, whereas the Sumatra, they tend to roast on the darker side just because it tastes great, dark, with cream and sugar. Like, that's a great coffee. But I lean toward those lighter roasts. Yeah, it's just me.
You guys, I mean, both, I know you, I know Sean, you both seem pretty happy working together.
Yeah.
How lucky do you consider yourself?
Extremely, extremely. I just said to somebody, I was like, I'm not sure if luck is really such a thing. We work really hard on our business. We work really hard on our relationship. Being in business together is like having a marriage, Right. We're both married separately, but we have this marriage where if you get in a disagreement or you have to compromise, you have to do it. You have to fix things, and having a great balanced partnership is vital.
You start out with how many employees?
Just the two of us.
Who was third?
The third, well, technically, Sean's cousin, Emily.
Don't know.
I know, it's hard. We had about 3 people that started at the same time. This guy, Peter, who was amazing, Ashley and Emily, they all started within the same week. What happened was, it was Mother's Day, Sean was alone, it was a Sunday. We would take every other Sunday off, one of us. And
working in the store?
Working in the store, serving every customer that walked in just alone. And I guess it just got so busy that a friend of his walked in and he was like, "You've got to help me behind the counter." Like, it was crazy, the line, and everybody, all the customers were great about it, but that's when we were like, we really need to hire right now.
You didn't anticipate being that busy that quickly?
No, our business plan said our first employee would be in about 18 months, and we made it about 5
months or 4 or 5 days?
Months. No, 4 or 5 months, yeah.
Okay. When did, I think Andrea?
And then Andrea was...
she's been there almost from the beginning.
Yeah, so she started that's 2010 is when we opened, and she started in 2010, and she was our first manager. So...
how many managers do you have now?
Now we have 10 store managers and 10 assistant managers.
And how many baristas?
I'd say about 100.
That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
Did you ever anticipate managing that many people?
No. I mean, it was kind of like in the wildest dreams category. 10 stores, oh my gosh. But no, I didn't. And, it's been a learning process for sure.
Well, we're going to take a break, and then we'll talk about the learning process.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Your seat cushion can be used to grant wishes.
Who said that? Hello?
Really can,
You talking to me?
Sure am. Because the airline miles you earn and donate to Make-A-Wish can help send thousands of kids on their wish trips. So donate to Make-A-Wish today.
You really should, You really should.
And give wishes wings, because wishes work wonders.
We're back for the second half of Community Connections with Holly Migliaccio, one of the partners in Rook Coffee. I'll repeat it again, a Long Branch business.
Nice.
You were open a couple of years when you acquired the Long Branch property.
Yes.
What do you do there? I mean, we go past, and the only thing we can't buy a cup of coffee there yet.
So we purchased the building. It's been almost 2 years now, and initially it was, let's get in there, let's start roasting. We had hit just about capacity on our old roaster. We purchased a new one. And we got that roaster in there. We renovated 1/3 of the building. It's kind of in 3 sections, this building. So we roast in one section, and then we actually have a brewery in the other section, cold brew coffee.
Okay.
So we cold
Buy
brew
the bottle
coffee.
of the bottles of coffee that you sell in the
bottle in
stores.
there. Yes, exactly. So, but we cold brew the coffee, and then we put it into kegs, and the kegs get distributed to the stores, and we put them on tap. So it's coffee. But the equipment works very, very similarly to beer. And so that's one section. And then the center section is our corporate offices. So there's about 10 of us or so in there. And that particular area, we're giving a little facelift right now. We're going to paint it up and stuff. So in that building at any given time, 15 to 20 people every day.
Now, by the time people watch this, the event will have come and gone.
Yes.
But the Rook Run,
Yes.
do you sell coffee to every CrossFit gym in Monmouth County and then some?
We do focus on the gyms. We're trying to do gym challenges every year where they, gyms are competitive,
Yes,
even with
they
each
are.
other. So
And CrossFit people,
and CrossFit, yes. So
they're not gyms. I believe they call them boxes.
oh, really? I didn't know.
I think it's called a box.
Oh. Well, we got some of those boxes as teams at the Rook Run this year. So the Rook Run we do for the Valerie Fund. 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Valerie Fund at Monmouth Medical.
You're gonna raise now the race. This show will be. We're taping it before airing it, probably after.
Yeah,
Definitely
yeah.
after. You're gonna raise over $300,000 this year, probably.
We're over 300 already. So by the time the race comes, maybe 325, somewhere in there, a little more. We have over 3,000 runners already registered, which is the most we've ever had. And, it's only 4 years old. So we're really proud of what we've accomplished with it.
How many of the people actually, I mean, I know I'm going to go down Friday afternoon and pick up my T-shirt at your store. Is that the primary location people are going to do that? You're going to be bringing all these people in the Long Branch?
Yes. I mean, last year we had, I think our total for the run was just about 3,000 runners, almost. And we had 2/3 come.
And for people
about 2,000 came.
who don't know, now it is on the Promenade Boardwalk in Long Branch, and you throw a really nice party afterwards.
It's a good time.
Too.
It's a good time. This year, we're getting a little slack for it, but we decided not to do swag bags because we want people to stick around. And instead of getting an actual swag bag, you get your T-shirt, you get your headband, but you have to kind of visit everybody, and they'll give you free stuff. But we want you to stick around and hang out because Rooney's next door is going to throw a big party. There's band this year. So we want it to be more of a day versus just, hey, run and leave.
And you'll have events and things for kids and food.
Yeah, there's a bounce house and ice cream and coffee.
Oh, ice cream.
Yeah, ice cream. You like ice cream.
I like ice cream. Now, you've gone, we were talking earlier, you started off you and Sean.
Yes.
And you did all of the business side of it, and you worked in the store making the coffee.
Yes.
Now you got 140 employees.
Yes.
So you got a human resources person now?
We do, yeah.
And people come to Long Branch and get interviewed?
Yes, so all of our interviews, believe it or not, happen in Long Branch. Even for the store level baristas, everyone who interviews at the company
You have to be like
starts.
19 years old and with piercings?
18. Some of the shifts are long, so we want to make sure everybody's 18. We don't want to go over. It's funny, yeah, piercings and tattoos are, it seems like a lot of people. It's definitely not everyone, but
no, it's not everybody.
I don't know if, that's what gravitates towards, oh, I'm going to apply to a coffee shop or what, but it seems like we do have quite a few.
But what do you look for in an employee?
We look for literally one thing.
Which is?
Which is kindness.
Meaning what?
Meaning, you know, there's this intangible that you cannot train someone on.
Be nice to people.
Be nice. Be nice. And you know, being nice is not a skill to be learned. And so that's the first thing that is, you know, we try to uncover. And then from there, hey, do you have any food experience? You know, can you work in a fast-paced world? But that's the number one thing for us is, and you'll get along with everybody, you know.
Do you have an
customers,
employee
peers.
handbook?
We sure do.
And is that rule number one in the employee handbook?
I don't know if it's written in there. It's in the job description, and it's, you know, on our site, and we kind of have it in our marketing mantra. You know, that's kind of behind the scenes.
When did you decide? I mean, I almost wore it tonight. I never bought a Rook T-shirt, but I ran the race and I always thought that the Rook, particularly on the, I came into the store, I thought it was a penguin with a yarmulke because it had that green band. I said, it's wearing it, you know, and you said, no, we're having a race.
Yeah.
And I still have that little placard in my office. Well, it's a Long Branch event. It's an annual Long Branch event that brings a lot of people to town.
Yes.
We're
so proud of it.
You should be. I mean, if every runner doesn't bring somebody, but I bet you if you have 3,500 runners, we're going to have 5,000 people on the beach, on the ocean front.
I thought last year we were getting near there, maybe a little over 4 with friends and family.
Oh,
and now tossing it. There's a lot more sponsors this year. We're actually giving away a car.
You're giving away a car?
Yes, on
what kind
stage. Of car? Subaru. So World Subaru is our biggest sponsor, and they've been incredible. They've done it in a couple years,
do you have to buy an extra
so
ticket?
it's a raffle ticket. It's $100, but
Okay.
they're only selling $350, and we're almost done selling them. So the odds are not terrible.
No, no, they're not.
And so that should be a lot of fun. And of course, those proceeds also go to the Valerie Fund. So.
How'd you pick the Valerie Fund?
Well, Sean and I are local, and we're
children's charity
so the Valerie
cancer.
Fund, yes, it's an organization throughout New Jersey, really, that support children and their families, but the children have cancer and/or blood disorders, and we specifically focus on the one at Monmouth because we're here, you know, and we have obviously a location in Monmouth as well, Monmouth Med. But what an incredible organization! I mean, they're great people, and they're constantly doing great things, and we've met the children, and we've met families, and we've met the founders, and they work tirelessly throughout the year on many events, and this has become one of them, but they've done a tremendous amount of work for us.
Do you work with them on other things, or is the run?
The run is really the thing. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of energy, but of course it's very worth it.
They're actually doing a lot of the organizing for the race these days.
They are. So we hold on to the marketing piece, and we do that internally. So anything you see out there in our stores and any of the efforts we do through social media and signage, that's on us. But they do the operations and really the sponsorships, the fundraising.
How much do you do through social media? We were talking about it before because I'm relatively new to Facebook.
Well, Rook Coffee as a company, we have a pretty large following, maybe 20,000 to 30,000 on different, you know, social media platforms. The Rook Run has a couple thousand. So we're able to sort of segment out, you know, if you're a Rook Coffee customer, but you're not a runner, you're not interested, we don't want to overwhelm you with too much Rook Run stuff, and vice versa. We're not going to take our Rook Run crowd and say, hey, buy a coffee, you know, so they are segmented differently for marketing purposes, but we rely pretty heavily on social media to let people know what's going on.
What do you do personally on it? No, I don't mean your personal life. I just mean that you as the, well, you know, I didn't even ask, what's your job title?
My job title is co-CEO, which is, you know, strange
Sean's the
these
other
days. You know, there's
co-CEO.
two CEOs of a company, but really we do operate that way. We split everything down the middle.
So as co-CEO, what do you do on social media?
For me personally, I have my own social media outlets. Today, for example, I posted, you know, Sean and I with a couple of firefighters at last year's Rook Run, just, you know, re-promoting the run to my family, my friends, and people I've grown up with, and people that, you know, I maybe haven't seen in a while, but I think they would care and maybe support the Valerie Fund as well. So I put a post up about that, for example, today.
we talked earlier, you've got 10 locations now. In the last 2 years, you've said infrastructure,
Yes.
which is actually kind of unusual because that's something that frequently gets neglected in a business and in a city.
Yes.
When do you envision expanding again?
I do. You know, we hit that 2-year point recently and said, all right, I think it's time. We have a very strong internal team. We feel really, really good about it. So we're starting to look a little bit again.
Another location in Long Branch?
Is 3 enough?
3, well, you know, I don't count the hospital.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, no, three's probably a pretty
Yeah.
good, pretty fair number.
We have the Long Branch on Joline Avenue. We have the hospital, and then of course our headquarters. It's not open to the public, but you know, we never say never.
If Long Branch, you know, you and I have talked, you know, downtown's starting to change.
Yes.
Would that be what might entice you to open another?
Listen, if things start hopping around us, it'd be hard to, you know,
'Cause we
keep a shut door to.
We had concerts this summer on Tuesday nights.
Yes.
They developed their own little niche because we were consistent, and we were looking around and said, what would make this better? Food and beverage.
Sure.
You know, you got to eat.
Yeah.
And just that location, you know, we see the back of stores and we see Rook and McDonald's, and you know, people were walking over to McDonald's getting something to eat or a soda. We'd like to expand that a little bit, and we're thinking about it.
Well, I am very excited about what's going on downtown. You know, just hearing the buzz and seeing things happen and unfold and reading. It is really exciting.
I was actually at an art gallery. They've been open for a while.
I missed it. I saw you there. They posted a picture of you. See, on social media.
Right.
I did see
I
it.
have no tattoos. It was a skin art, and it was really cool.
Yeah, they have some great stuff. They had a grand opening.
Yes.
I don't know if it was a grand opening, but something.
Back in late June, they had
yes,
it. It was really.
I did go to that.
I might have even seen
Maybe
it. I don't
we
remember.
crossed paths. But I saw.
But we're
the
starting
other
to see
night they were
things,
there.
and I mean, listen. You're bringing. When I go down and pick up my T-shirt, I'll probably go late Friday afternoon. You'll have a lot of people.
People will be there.
Will be there, and it's a
We have
great
this
thing
big
to see.
parking lot in the back. World Subaru is going to bring that car, kind of entice people. But you know, it's accessible. It's not too far from anybody. Obviously, it's right near where the run's going to take place. It's not far, and we love being local.
And so, in another couple of days, we're going to see another couple thousand people walking around with Rook T-shirts.
That's right.
Good.
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming over.
Thank you. It's been great.